today we are going to talk about a really great author in the Philippine literature. But before that, let me ask you a question. Are you a fan of novels? Do you know any of these books right in front of you that I'm showing? If you are a fan of these books, then you know who we are going to talk about today. And his name is Mr. Bienvenido Santos. Mr. Bienvenido Santos was born on March 22, 1911, and he died on January 7, 1996. And you're probably curious on who is it, Mr. Bienvenido Santos, if you have no idea about it. So we're gonna talk about his life in general. So let's get started. Bienvenido Santos, he was a Filipino-American fiction, non-fiction, and poetry writer. He was born in Tondo, Manila, and Santos left for the United States on September of 1941 as a pensionado of the Philippine Commonwealth government. Now, what is a pensionado? A pensionado is sort of like a scholar that is sent to the other countries like the United States to study there and then go back here to the Philippines. Santos is best known for his short stories and novels that explore the Filipino-American experience. Critics praise his sensitive and poignant portrayals of Filipino immigrants in the United States struggling with loneliness and alienation. These works have earned him a prominent place in Filipino-American literature. So, from these information, we can already see that Mr. Bienvenido Santos is a very well-known writer. So he's very famous. And let's have our trivia. Did you know that Mr. Bienvenido Santos is a menopausal baby? So just imagine if her mother didn't give birth to him. We wouldn't have any of these amazing literature works that he made himself. So that is a very interesting fact. So you're probably wondering, what made him so great? Where is he from? What is his education? And let me answer that question to you by discussing his education. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of the Philippines, where he first studied creative writing under Paz Marquez Benitez. And in 1941, he became a pensionado during the Commonwealth government and studied at the University of Illinois, Columbia University, and Harvard University. So this gives you an idea why Mr. Bienvenido Santos became a pensionado. Because he is a very diligent and intelligent man. For you to be able to graduate in the University of the Philippines and enter these very prestigious universities like the University of Illinois, Columbia University, and the very well-known Harvard University. Next is his affiliations. He was a teacher in several universities, but the most notable ones are the Ohio State University and the De La Salle University. So let me give you some examples of his work. Some examples of his novels is The Volcano in 1965, William Magdalena also in 1965, The Praying Man in 1982, The Man Who Thought He, Looked Like Robert Taylor in 1983. Some of his short stories involve You Lovely People in 1955, Brother My Brother in 1960, The Day the Dancers Came in 1967 and 1991, and The Scent of Apples in 1979. Some examples of his poetry work is The Wounded Stag in 1956 and 1992, Distances in Time in 1983, and March of Death and The Music for One. So, if you haven't read any of his works, you're wondering what made him so great. Let me give you an example. I will give you an excerpt from his work, Come Home Heroes. This is a poetry. The hills are ripe for another deflowering, like the bride in the valley of stones, and my brother's youth in the nameless sea. So, just by hearing me say it or reading it yourself, you can say that it is very interesting. So, here are the references that I got for this video. You may check it out. And that would be all. And thank you for listening and thank you for watching.